do my hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another special Coach TGS YouTube channel. And I am so excited because I am joined today by two fabulous, capital F yan, fabulous, fantastic women who will be joining me in a conference on March 27th. And we'll talk about that. But a bigger topic that we're going to discuss is how did they survive living and working abroad? Pangarap natin lahat yan. We all want to work abroad, we want to live abroad because we want a better life. 'Di ba? Ang dami nating we always hear about overseas Filipino workers. Ano ba yon? And how does OFWs ba sila, or how are they residents now of the countries that they are in? We will find out everything. Hopefully they share with us everything about them. So please like, subscribe, and comment on the section below if you want to join in, and if you want to maybe ask questions, then come on and I will make sure that they also respond to you guys. So are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, let's begin. We also call her coach. Coach Jocelyn Mendoza is an advanced certified trainer and assessor according to the Singapore Workforce Development Authority. Alam nyo na kung anong country niya, ha? A certified Lean Sigma black belt and a neuro-linguistic programming practitioner. She is a trained coach of the four disciplines of execution popularized by Sean Covey. She graduated with a degree of chemical engineering from the University of the Philippines in Diliman. She is currently a resident of Singapore, where she still serves in the management of an electronics manufacturing services company on all aspects of quality and regulatory matters. Friends, please welcome Coach Jocelyn Villafranca Mendoza. Hello, Coach Jocelyn. How are
Hello,
you?
Angelina. Hello to your audience, to your subscribers. How
Thank
are
you for
you?
joining us. Oh, thank you. I am doing very well. How are you in Singapore? How's COVID
Um,
there? Kamusta ba ang COVID dyan?
well, it's under control. But I'm still working from home. Since April last year, I've been working from home. So, but all is well. We can still go out without restriction.
Wow! Parang nainggit naman ako doon, di ba? Okay. Let's go now to the next lady who will join us for this panel. So, Riza discovered her faith at a very early age, even before she reached her teens. Since then, she has been led by God to inspire and help others grow in their faith. She moved to South Africa after meeting her husband in 2005. She then acquired her diploma in South African Human Resources Management and Practices from one of South Africa's top business schools, cum laude. Her knowledge and experience as an HR professional has been a valuable contributor to the growth of the company, which her husband owns, and also to the growth of the company's most valuable assets, its employees. So, friends, please welcome, of course, Riza Waterson. Good evening or good
Hello.
morning. Anong time zone
It's
sa'yo?
it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here. So magandang tanghali o gabi sa inyo lahat sa Pilipinas.
Gabi na sa
Amin,
amin. Gabi na. Gabi.
oo, kasi 6 hours ahead kayo.
Okay. So, kamusta naman? How is COVID in South Africa?
We are still on lockdown. We still have restrictions like curfew from 11 p.m. to I think it's 5 a.m.
Mhm.
And we started rolling out yung vaccine, but for the frontliners muna, yung
Ah,
COVID vaccine. But life goes on. We still work from home, although yung ibang companies open na rin. So yeah, we're okay so far.
Oh, very good, no? That's good to hear. So, I know, Riza, you are already a resident.
I'm not an OFW kasi when I arrived here,
Mm-mm.
it was because I wanted to live with my husband o yung future husband ko. So, and then I couldn't work actually when I got here because of my residency. I was just
Mm.
like a temporary resident. So you're not allowed to work until you get your permanent residency, which took me like 5 or 7 years because of the delay sa processing. So as soon as I got my permanent residency, I was able to work na.
Ah,
So
okay.
I got here because love.
Wow!
Dahil sa pag-ibig.
Maraming ganyan, no? Okay nga yun eh. Kasi so, in other words, the love. Oh, so sorry kailangan may love story ng konti. Ikaw na
May love
nagbanggit.
story ba?
Is the love story made in the Philippines or made in South
Ah,
Africa? Para lang
ah,
maintindihan ng mga kasi marami
yung
tayong
may
mga
background
kababayan,
ano.
'di ba? May mga women
Background.
na may ganun eh, 'di ba?
Oo. My first marriage was annulled after 15 years. So I have 3 kids sa first husband ko. And then while waiting for my annulment, I met my husband through a common friend. Actually, teacher ko siya sa photography who also became friends with my husband through freight naman sa business niya.
Ah.
So that was 2005. Ganito, yung common friend namin, he met my husband in Cape Town. Kasi my husband attended a conference with a network of freight companies.
Mhm. Mhm.
So they became friends, and he invited him to visit the Philippines. So when he
Mm.
visited Philippines, he fell in love with the country and its people nagustuhan niya yung ugali ng mga Pilipino, no? And then he said, because divorced siya. So he said, I want to marry a Filipina. So,
Ah, so enter ka na doon sa
oo, enter. Nirekomenda ako. Actually, sabi ko nga, ano ba yan? Saan ba yan? South Africa. Medyo parang, hindi,
Yeah.
diba, hinanap ko pa nga sa globe. Sabi ko, saan ba yung South African yan?
Ay, correct yan. Very
So,
mysterious ang South Africa, I think, to
oo.
the
So,
Filipinos. Ah, so you visited South Africa
yeah,
muna
oo,
para
I
makita mo.
visited.
Okay.
Oo, kung maganda ba yung lugar or kung
Mm-mm.
tingin ko, do I see myself living here in
There,
South
yes.
Africa?
That's a good
So,
one, yes.
I stayed for a month, and then
Mhm.
after that, I kept coming back
Mm.
until I decided na, okay, I'll leave. But because of some visa issues, you can only stay until 3 months,
Mm-mm.
tourist
So
visa.
pag ganon-ganon ka. So the reason why I'm asking, and it's I think a very good way to share, is iba-iba kasi yung pathways abroad eh, no? And even with love, with falling in love, iba din kasi iba ang fiancé visa, iba depende sa country, no? That's why I'm so curious about South Africa. Okay, tingnan naman natin si Jocelyn. Jocelyn, ikaw ba when you went to Singapore, firstly, sorry, are you now a resident of Singapore and OFW ka ba nag-start? Ano naman yung kwento mo?
Uh, yeah, I started out as an OFW, and I mean, technically you can say we're OFW, right? Because you work in an overseas country.
Right.
But I'm already a resident. Yes. So
Ah.
I don't have to go through the when you go home to the Philippines, you have to pay the POEA fee, mga ganon,
Yes.
diba? So I don't have to go through that. So basta
Ah.
meron kang resident card from Singapore. Yeah, I mean you still have to go through the process, pero very minimal fee for that.
Okay. So when you went there was a job waiting for you. Is that
Yes,
how?
yes,
Ah, okay.
yes.
So there
There
was
was a
an
job
offer
waiting for
na,
me.
Jocelyn, before you went abroad? How did that
Yeah,
happen?
yeah. I was in the Philippines when I was interviewed. Okay.
Mm.
So actually ang nag-interview sa akin was a former boss in the Philippines. So I mean that's how important it is, right? To keep your relationship,
Contacts,
yeah, contact,
yes.
and to build up. You don't burn any bridges kasi uh
Ay,
yeah. So because if you they you can open opportunities through that. I mean, if my former boss didn't like me, why would he even
Recommend you.
consider me or recommend me for it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your former boss, who's a Filipino,
Yes.
correct? Okay. He works now in the company that you're working in. Tama ba?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
So he interviewed you, company liked you, brought you to Singapore, technically first as an OFW,
Yes. Yes.
right?
That's
Okay.
right.
Now, how long before you became a resident of Singapore?
Wow. I would say at least 5 years.
5 years
Yeah.
naman.
During the time when when I first came, there is actually I would say there's a minimum requirement to be
A
working
resident?
here or living
Ah,
here
okay.
before I could consider applying for residency. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
So,
And I was lucky because at that time
okay.
the company still sponsored my application. I mean, not everybody company, not all companies that do that.
Yeah. So parang yung iba on contract, no? Tapos pagtapos yung contract, uwi ka na ulit.
Mm-mm.
But
Mm-mm.
you were lucky that your company sponsored you na.
Yeah, and after I mean,
Mm-mm.
I was under contract for a while, and then but
Right?
it was renewed,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and then the application for permanent residency is my own initiative. They won't
Ah,
apply for you, but it helps if the company will
sponsor you.
sponsor you, right? Or
Ah.
you at least give you a letter of recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long have you been living in Singapore right now? To
I
date.
I first came in Singapore when in 1994. I
Wow. Okay.
actually I but I went back after a year. I went back to the Philippines actually after a year. And
Okay.
then I returned in 1996. So if we start counting from 1996, that's about what uh
About
25
yeah.
years,
Yeah.
almost 25
Wow.
years, almost 25 years. Yeah.
So you brought your family already.
Yes, my family is with me here, my daughter and my husband.
Okay, wow. So what is the status? You're all residents or are you citizens? May ganun ba sa Singapore?
Yeah, yeah, of course. But we're all residents. I think I mentioned it during our last conference that to be a citizen of Singapore, I have to give up my Philippine citizenship, and I didn't want to do that. So I'm still a Filipino in thoughts and
Ah,
deeds.
I see. Hindi ba uso dual citizenship?
Ay, hindi uso rito yun. It's not allowed.
Ah. What about you, Riza? When you married your husband, automatic ba yon? Suddenly you are, ano bang tawag sa
Mm,
South African? Ano ba
South
ang,
African citizen.
ah, that
Before,
automatic?
ang ganun ang law nila, if you marry a South African, after a period of time, or parang within a year, automatic you get a citizenship eh. But because maraming nag-abuse nung law na yon, they just marry a South African, yung mga ganun, binago nila, mahigpit. So now that I'm a permanent resident, I can actually apply. Kasi after 5 years of your being a permanent resident, you can apply for citizenship.
Mhm.
For me, um, ayoko din.
Wow!
Parang si Joseph.
Kahanga! So you
Actually, ang
really
kaibahan lang
want
nun
to
is
give
you
it
have
up?
the right to vote status
Because
ko.
PR naman is a legal status.
Yes.
Right? You
Yeah.
can work. The
You
only
can
thing you
work.
cannot do is vote. So now, what I'm interested in is what do you currently do? Kasi alam na natin, so nakarating na kayo, no? Ay, Riza, did you bring your family pala? Because I asked Jocelyn that question.
No, because at the time my kids were still in school. So I don't want to disrupt yung studies nila. And also iba yung education system dito eh.
Mm.
So I'd rather that they will just come here to visit me every school holiday yan. Nakakapunta sila dito. Alternately or one time, there was a time na tatlo sila sabay-sabay.
Wow,
So
okay.
madugo din yung pamasahe kasi ang layo eh, di ba?
So my question, ladies, now is, have you always dreamed or wanted to live and work abroad? So Celine, let's start with you.
The answer for me is no. Yeah, actually, I mean, during the time when I was in university, yun yung panahon na ang daming nababalita na they want to work overseas, pero TNT ba? TNT, tago ng
Yeah.
tago.
Oo,
Yan,
oo.
tago ng tago.
Illegal. Illegal
Ewan kung
status.
ginagamit pa rin hanggang ngayon yun.
Okay.
So, so para bang ang ano ko sa tingin ko is I won't go overseas unless it's under with proper papers. So I didn't
Ah.
really always dream of going overseas.
So you don't want that stress, yung tago ka ng tago. You're
Yes.
on illegal status. No, because
Yes.
I totally agree. No, I mean we ladies we've been working. Look, I've been working in the Philippines for a long time. And if I think of abroad, I always think dapat legal para stressful na nga to transfer to another environment. Stress pa ako kung hahabulin ako ng immigration, di ba? What about you, Riza? Did you even imagine South Africa? Nasa radar ba yan in the planning of your life?
Naku, wala. As I said earlier, because of personal circumstances, yung reason ko why nakarating ako ng South Africa. And when I first separated from my ex-husband, I went to Bangkok for almost a year to teach in a language center.
Okay.
And hindi ako tumagal kasi I only stayed there for I think 10 months because of my children.
Okay.
So nung na-meet ko naman tong husband ko, because of yung first marriage ko, masasabi natin it was a failure.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make this relationship work naman this time.
Of course.
So for me, long distance relationship napakahirap. Yung ang 24/7 nakasama mo ang husband mo. May mga challenges na Di how much more if you live apart, di ba?
Right.
So I really made that decision. Pero never in my wildest dream that I will be here in South Africa. Siguro malapit-lapit lang na bansa ang pipiliin ko. Yung I can easily commute back and forth like Singapore or yun nga, Thailand. But alam mo, siguro destiny na na-meet ko siya tapos nakarating ako dito. So, yeah, never ko inisip I'll be able to live and work here in South Africa.
Okay. So now you're currently working, Riza, or when you went there, I know you work in the company of your husband. Have you worked?
I still am working.
Okay, you're still working. Have you worked for other companies also in South Africa?
Nung dumating ako dito, since I'm not allowed to work, so I studied. I took yung human resources with the intention to be involved in sa human resources department ng any company. And then my husband, he offered me after I got my permanent residency, he offered me na if I want to be involved in the training ng mga employees, ganyan. So, since then, din ako nag-work sa ibang companies. So, sa husband ko lang.
Okay. Now, you mentioned kanina, I like the word challenges. What was your challenge, Risa, working? You said, even if it's your husband's company, but the employees are, I would assume, not Filipinos. More South Africans.
Bihirang-bihira ka makakita dito ng mga Pilipino.
Okay. So, ano yung challenges mo? Working, biro mo training ka pa, human resources. That's management of people. So you have a Filipina who is there and suddenly training other cultures. What were your challenges, Riza?
Actually, South Africa is known as the Rainbow Nation kasi it's made up of many diverse cultures and religions, And let's say in our workplace, South Africans nga sila, but they belong to different ethnic groups. Example, we have white South Africans, okay? Pero yung mga white South Africans, they still belong to like two ethnic groups. Yung mga Afrikaners, yung tinatawag natin nanggaling sa Dutch, German, or French, na mga settlers.
Okay.
Sila yung medyo formal, direct sila makipag-usap sa'yo. When they communicate with you talagang straight to the point.
Okay.
Pero naman mga English speakers na white South Africans, like yung husband ko, from British ancestry naman. So iba din yung way of communication nila. Eh, alam mo naman tayo sa human resources, talagang we need to communicate, ano?
Right.
So, tapos we have the Black South Africans na very warm sa'yo, na kulang na
Oh,
yakapin ka, so very
wow.
charismatic. So iba din yung iisip ang dito rin yung mga Black South Africans, they belong to different tribes. So iisipin mo din yung mga practices nila, yung mga values nila, yung mga beliefs. Tapos we have the South Africans na Indians naman.
Okay. Ang
Like
dami
yung office
Okay.
namin, yung office namin sa Durban, mostly South African Indians. Pagdating mo naman
Ah,
sa office namin sa Cape Town, may tinatawag kaming colored. Hindi sila black, hindi sila white. Kayo manggi. Parang tayo, ang color of the skin nila. Kayo manggi.
okay.
So, iba pa rin yun. So, the
Ah,
challenge for me is understanding how yung pinanggalingan nila, yung mga beliefs nila, yung mga values nila, so that I'll be able to communicate to them better, diba? Lalo na if you're disciplining yung isang employee.
yes, yes.
How are you
HR ka
gonna
eh.
approach, or how are you
Right,
gonna approach that person? So,
right.
irerespeto mo yon. You need to respect ano man yung mga traditions nila.
Okay.
Aside from that, may introvert and may mga personalities din yan eh,
Yes,
di ba?
yes, yes.
So, siguro I'm blessed that I'm na inflexible ba ako? I can easily adapt kung sino yung kaharap ko.
Right.
Nagigets ko agad kung paano approach ang gagamitin ko. And also, South Africa has a unique history. Remember, they have the apartheid.
Yes, yes.
So, may mga colleagues ka o may mga employees ka na hindi pa nakaka-move on. Alam mo yun, they still have
Ah,
the misgivings of the past. So, they have this sense of entitlement when it comes to advancing ng career nila.
so parang dapat sila
So,
yung ma-promote
sila
kasi
yung because of the
okay.
inequalities before, yung mga ganun
Right,
na
right. Oh,
naranasan nila.
wow. Okay.
Another challenge for me is, although English is widely spoken, we will always know na, we know na meron naman tayong accent sa intonation, diba? So sometimes I find myself repeating kasi hindi nila agad maintindihan. Is maybe
Ah,
mabilis ako magsalita
okay.
or maybe yung tono, yung accent. So, adjust naman kasi you just need to repeat yourself.
So you mentioned two, no? The culture, kasi,
Mm.
and the history. Bigla kami
So,
nagka-history lesson, no, Miss Riza, which is good because I never knew that, no, about South Africa. Very
oh,
mysterious nga, di ba, yung intro ko sa'yo.
oo.
And the second one is language. But obviously, it's English, no? I think
English.
that's
Oh,
the
English.
global language. So I'm gonna jump to Singapore now, Jocelyn. You are in an electronics manufacturing company. What's a woman doing there? So ang challenge sa akin, nagugulat ako kasi you are, it seems like in a man's territory. Correct me if I'm wrong. And second, apart from being a woman, you are pa in Singapore. So again, no, I feel there's a lot of adjustments. What are your challenges, Jocelyn, in Singapore?
Well, when I first arrived in Singapore, uh, the prejudices you will encounter, you will know, when you take a taxi, because that's the time when the locals can actually talk to you. You're a captive audience.
Yeah, no choice, no
It's just
choice.
you,
Right, right,
him and you in the taxi. And the
right.
most common question I get when I was first starting here, when I was in my 20s, is that, oh, is it your day off today? And it's
Oh,
and it's
okay.
if it's especially if it's a weekend. Is it your day off today?
Oh,
So you know what the implication, right? What they're thinking, because to be honest, the majority of the Filipinos working here, if they are not in the health industry, will be
nurses yan, ano?
yeah,
You say
if
nurses.
they're if they're not nurses,
Uh-huh.
they will be foreign domestic workers. Okay,
Okay,
and a
okay.
smaller percentage will be in working in corporate setting. Okay,
Yes, yes, I
so
understand. Uh-uh.
and so that's where they're coming from. Okay, I have learned to just take it in stride. Because
Okay.
because they see it every day. They know that a lot of Filipinos are working here as foreign domestic workers. So
Ah,
um, But and that's the common people,
Sinasagot.
right?
How do you
Outside.
answer? How do you answer that, Jocelyn?
Well,
Yung
I
kapag sabing
cannot
day off
answer.
mo ba?
I will just say that I don't work weekends. So
Oo nga naman, I don't work weekends. Okay,
Ikaw
wala na
naman,
siyang
no? Day
pakialam,
off.
'di ba? Wala na
I
siyang
don't work weekends.
pakialam.
So
Okay, okay.
yeah, so I mean, I mean, now that I'm older, I don't get asked that question anymore, because you don't usually the foreign domestic workers are younger, much younger, right? So so I'm older now, so I don't get to ask that question,
Okay.
and but of course in the corporate setting in the office, everybody's professional, but I think
Right.
the first culture shock for me when I started working in the office is um, even your boss, your boss's boss, we
Okay.
don't call them sir or ma'am. We call them
Ah.
by their
First name.
name, by their first name.
By their first name.
Yes. So we don't. It's odd if you get called sir or ma'am.
So, kasi tayo, no, talaga sir,
Yeah.
ma'am, no, sa Pilipinas.
Yes.
Feeling ko,
That's the first thing
wala
that
tayong
I
paggalang,
learned.
eh, no, pag hindi tayo nag-sir at saka ma'am.
Yeah. It's very
Okay.
that's the first culture shock. First adjustment. It's
Nice. Okay. Okay. Now, let me ask you, because as a woman, did they question your ano ba, capability of doing whatever you're supposed to be doing in your office? Kasi feeling nila parang uy, emotional ang mga babae. Pwede ba siya? Matapang ba siya? I mean, is she strong enough to be in that position, Jocelyn?
Well, no, no, I would say, I mean, they're professional, of course, the employees are guided by the HR policies, right?
Mm-mm.
And Singapore is relatively very liberal in terms of whether you're a male or female, you don't get discriminated. At least
Okay.
not outright,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
not very
yeah,
out.
yeah.
uh, and at the same time, I'm amazed very similar a lot of similarities with South Africa because Singapore is also a multiracial
Yes, yes.
country. We have, of course, majority are the Chinese. Then
Right.
we have the Malay. Not Malay is not the same as the Malay that we know when we studied in the. So Malay are mostly those Muslims, Muslim religion. Yeah. So
Okay.
and then you have the Indian,
Yes.
and then the others such as the Eurasian uh, uh, citizens. So you also have to be conscious of that the different differences in the culture, and you have to leave all your prejudices,
Yeah.
racial prejudices behind, because in Singapore they have zero tolerance for those who want to steer trouble that's related to race.
Ah.
Zero tolerance, yeah.
So ibig sabihin nito, yung mga racial slurs, hindi ka pwedeng you cannot joke, you cannot rant, you
Yeah,
cannot
yeah,
say bawal na
yeah,
bawal sa Nakakatakot sa Singapore no, ang daming fine, 'di ba? Tsaka parang you're always going to get, 'di ba? There are a lot
Imagine
of
ka.
rules. They're very serious about it. So,
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I feel happy about that, right? That there's zero tolerance for discrimination, no? And I know discrimination, Riza, na kwento mo nga, medyo malakas yan sa South Africa. And you mentioned, Jocelyn, kanina na, no, Nelson Mandela as the most popular South African. In fact, I think he brought South Africa to the world. We don't know what's going on in that nation. But with Nelson Mandela, he was able to educate everybody about what's going on. And that's modern history na yan eh. Si Nelson Mandela, di naman niya kapanahunan na World War II. We're talking,
1994.
yeah, we're talking about very recent, hindi naman very recent, pero kumbaga modern history. So, Riza, how, is there also, I know the discrimination yung sa apartheid is really blacks against whites, ganun yun, ano? Tama ba? And
Mhm.
so, but is there something also like male versus female in your setting in South Africa? May ganun ba?
Um, Dito kasi meron kaming tinatawag na mga disadvantaged individuals, hindi lang yung dahil sa color of your skin. Okay? Also,
Okay.
yung sex mo, yung gender.
Yeah.
So, may mga companies pa rin that they don't really have a high percentage ng women employees.
Okay.
So, and I think it's also it's still difficult for a woman to get into yung glass ceiling na ang sinasabi natin, to
Mhm.
be in a CEO position or CFO position.
Mm.
But kasi in our company, my husband kasi he doesn't believe yung mga ganyan, ano.
Mhm.
Actually, yung COO niya is a woman.
Nice.
Yung
Very
CEO
cool.
is man,
Okay.
a male, and
Okay.
then yung COO, in charge of the whole
Operations.
operations of the company, is a lady.
Nice.
Prior
Okay.
to that, yung pinalitan ng CEO ngayon, actually lady din siya. Nag-resign lang, nag-migrate sa Ireland, ano?
Okay.
So, as much as possible, sa company namin,
Yeah.
we try not to discriminate
Oh.
women. Basta skilled
Right.
and able to perform the job, well, yeah.
Okay.
Pero sa ibang company, may ganun pa rin.
Meron pa rin.
Nakakalungkot, may ganun pa rin.
Jocelyn, I'll go to you. Kasi wala si Riza, no? And Riza kasi, you know, they have their own business. So they try not to discriminate, no? Which is great. Jocelyn, you're working for a company. How is the promotion system? You've been working a long time in that company. Meron bang favoritism kasi babae, hindi babae, or Filipina, or ibang lahi, you know? Meron ba ding ganyan sa Singapore?
Uh, well, at least not in our company. It's actually an American owned company. So,
Mm,
uh, yung mga guidelines, yung mga ethics, business ethics, you have to follow their way, right?
right.
So, but even then, I won't say na merong discrimination. So
Mhm,
it's still will be merit based,
mhm.
no? So kahit, I mean, all along, Singapore has always been merit based. Kahit sa school, you know,
Mm,
kahit mayaman ka o kung kahit mayaman ka, kung mahirap ka but you're really intelligent, you will get into a good school because the government will support.
oh,
So
nice.
yeah. So it's very merit based here. So which is lucky. I'm lucky that way. Yes.
Are there like, kasi 'di ba in other countries, masigawan mo lang yung anak mo, verbal abuse, pwede ka na idemanda, 'di ba? Eh tayo, Filipinos, talagang namamalo tayo, 'di ba? So, how is it there in Singapore? Yung not just with
Um,
the children, but maybe family life. Is it different from Manila? Do you feel you have to adjust as a family?
Not really. Not really. I mean, Singapore is still an Asian country with Asian
Okay.
values, right?
Uh-huh.
Although and like I said, multiracial. So
Mhm.
you have to respect what each and every race, their practices, okay, what they do. So and
Mhm.
whether they actually namamalo or
Mhm.
nagtikin ng
Mhm.
mga to discipline children. I
Right.
don't know anyone personally, but
Okay.
caning is a form of punishment in Singapore for those who break the law.
Ah, really? Okay. So pwede naman pala.
Those who break the law. But I don't know
Ah,
about the children if they actually do
okay.
that.
Okay. Alright, so hindi ka walang adjustment. Family life, parang pareho lang.
Yes.
Paglabas mo lang, alam mong nasa Singapore ka. Parang gano'n. Did you prepare? How did you prepare, ladies? Lilipad ka na eh. Kung hari bukas na yung flight mo, I mean, I want you to go back to that day where, eto na, did you prepare yourself? Anong preparation mo sa sarili mo? Because you're going to live and work and and socialize. Your new friends will be other cultures already. What about you, Riza? Ikaw?
So yung
Right.
preparation is more of, syempre, i-prepare mo emotionally dahil I'll be leaving my children.
Mhm.
So, kailangan ihanda ko yung sarili ko. I need to be strong. wala rin akong kakilala dito other than my husband. So wala akong support,
Right.
diba,
Hard,
support system.
Yes.
So it was very difficult for me nung pabalik-balik na ako. I have to look for Filipino community na kung
Ah,
saan ako may involve. I called the embassy, I check kung may mga gatherings sila. And then
yes.
I started meeting Filipinos through the embassy. So
Okay.
lumago yung circle of friends.
What about you, Jocelyn? Did you prepare? Were you married na ba pala before you went to Singapore?
No,
Ah,
no. Yeah,
no.
I married here.
Ah,
So my husband, I like to say na my husband followed me, pero he will challenge that.
Nagko-contest.
Magko-comment ba dito sa YouTube channel? Hindi totoo yan. Ganyan. Okay.
Hindi totoo yan. Yeah, I got married here in Singapore. I registered here in Singapore. Parang
Okay.
huwes sa atin, parang civil wedding. So,
Mm.
any preparation I made, I mean, this is my first time coming out, leaving the country, out of the country, taking the plane. So,
Wow.
siyempre, medyo kakaba-kaba, di ba? But,
Yes.
but I've always worked away from home. You know, my family is in Bulacan, but I was working in Cavite before I left the
Wow,
Philippines.
layo Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so I've always worked away from home. So, yun na lang
Okay.
isip ko, no, parang Singapore, parang Cavite lang. Yun. And also, I mean, in terms of when I finally arrived in Singapore, again, I was lucky because I for the first few years that I was here, I got to stay with my former boss, you know, in their flat. We share the rent sa flat. So at least, and then they become our good friends, very good friends.
Right, right.
Yeah. So yeah, over to the years.
Okay. So iba naman yung preparation mo, no,
Yes.
pagpunta diyan. Okay, ladies. So we're almost wrapping up this one now. Any things you miss in the Philippines, Jocelyn? O nakakabalik ka naman dito sa Pilipinas?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm able to. I mean, it's closer than visas at least.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, before COVID hit, I can go home to the Philippines, you know, at least twice a year.
Okay.
And even family can visit me, you know, the
Yes.
same way. It's close enough.
Yes.
So in terms of things that I miss, no, because I can always buy when I go home, or I can
Okay.
also find in the Lucky Plaza, you know, the famous
Yes.
Lucky Plaza
Okay.
here.
Mhm.
I would say the thing that I would miss will be, of course, the friends, my friends in the Philippines, um, the support, you know, the family support, because
Of course.
yeah, but it's not too much because I have my immediate family here. I have my husband and my daughter here.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course, because of technology now, right? You
Yeah.
can
We can do
give a
this.
call, messenger, you can Skype, or you know,
Yes.
you can have FaceTime. You can still see them. So it's not so much, adjustment as maybe the earlier OFW is not so much adjustment.
Correct. What about you, Riza? Apart from your
Ako,
children, I know you miss your children, but
Oo,
I mean, how do you do
marami.
that? Anong namimiss mo sa Pilipinas?
Ako medyo mababaw, ano. Namimiss ko yung sa mga sari-sari store sa Pilipinas. Kasi, di ba sa atin, nagluto ka, wala ka palang bawang, wala ka palang lalabas ka lang, may sari-sari store, di ba?
Right.
Dito wala eh. Wala, you have
Kailangan
to
grocery.
drive.
Yeah, okay.
Oo, papunta sa grocery. Ang namimiss ko din, yung mga Filipino food. Kasi wala kaming katulad ni Jocelyn dito ng malalaking mga Filipino stores, yung mga ganun.
Right.
Karamihan Chinese or Korean stores. So, namimiss ko yung mga puto bongbong, lalo na yung ensimada, yung mga, alam mo na. Kaya pag
Oo.
umuwi ako, kinakain to the max talaga kasi alam mo, hindi mo na matitikman. Although I'm really blessed na I come home 2 or 3 times
A year also. Yeah.
So, I don't miss the traffic sa Pilipinas, pero ang namimiss ko is the public transport. Kasi katulad nga sinabi ko na if lumabas ka lang ng bahay, may tricycle, may jeep, may bus, ano.
True.
Dito, I had to learn how to drive. Kasi hindi ko naman pwedeng abalahin lagi yung husband ko to take me sa mag-grocery o magpa-parlor ka o ano pa man gusto mong gawin.
Right.
So, at the age of 40, I had to learn how to drive.
Before we wrap up, what is your, maybe maybe you can give an advice um, to people who would like to work in South Africa, live in South Africa, or abroad. No? I mean, alam ko, every family siguro may OFW na, no? But ano ba yung, should we be confident o kailangan lakasan lang talaga ng loob? Jocelyn, anong tingin mo? Anong masasabi mo dun sa mga gustong sana magtrabaho ako sa abroad?
Yeah. I what can I tell them? It's scary at first, right? I mean, it's okay to be scared, but then wala namang mararating kung panay takot, di ba? So, lakas, I say, kailangan malakas ang loob, and you have to keep thinking of what drives you. Why are you here in the first place? Kasi pag nakalimutan mo yung reason for working in a foreign country in the first
Okay.
place,
Yeah.
you will be overcome by homesickness, right? And you
Ah,
would want to go home. So you have to go back and find that reason that you are working here in the first place
I like
para
that. I
you
like
can
that.
overcome kung ano man yung mga kalungkutan o
I
challenges.
understand.
Na.
So
Yeah.
parang always go back to your why.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What about you, Riza?
Ako lagi kong sinasabi sa mga gusto abroad, mag-work abroad or tumira abroad. Hanapin mo yung Philippine Embassy. Kasi if something happens to you, kailangan naka-register ka or at least meron kang tatakbuhan.
Okay.
Okay? And at least alam mo yung mga contact details ng Philippine Embassy. And kung maaari, kung meron kang mga kaibigan doon or kapamilya, mas maganda. Kasi yung support system, malaking bagay yun eh.
Right.
Para
Right.
maibsan yung loneliness mo, yung pagka-homesick mo. And also, lagi ka makipag-communicate sa family mo.
Okay.
Touch base.
Very
Huwag mo kalimutan
nice.
yung family mo.
I like that because you're talking about now to keep the connection. No? To keep the connection, keep the ties with the people in the Philippines. Speaking of connection, I know that the three of us will be having a conference on March 27. That's why we're doing this pre-interviews so that people can get to know who we are. And I know we're gonna talk about connection. Well, we're going to talk about connection in the conference. What is your topic for that conference? Riza, what are you talking about in that conference?
I'm gonna talk about character.
Okay.
Invest in your character and how character matters in your leadership journey.
Okay.
And siguro malaking bagay masasabi ko talagang malaking bagay ang character sa success ng tao. Kung ano yung mga values mo,
Yes.
ano yung mga pinanghawakan mo, character actually is the why behind our actions eh.
Yeah, because Jocelyn was saying
Behaviors
kanina, remember
natin,
the why.
yes.
Remember the
Yung
why.
behaviors natin,
Perfect.
galing yan sa kung ano man yung mga values natin sa buhay.
Okay, perfect.
So yun, I'm gonna talk about character.
So you're gonna talk about character. I know some of our friends are talking about connection, di ba? Kaya ako pinasok na yung connection. And then Jocelyn and I will be talking about one topic which is competence. So Jocelyn, why don't you tell us what your topic is? Konting hint lang kung ano yung
Walang spoilers.
no spoilers,
No
definitely.
spoilers.
Ano lang yung para bang bakit ko ba gusto, why would I want to listen to these women if I'm a woman? Why would I want to listen to these 7 women on March 27? So, Jocelyn?
Yeah, I'm going to touch on talent, talent and how you can maximize that so that you can be competent. And yeah, so because talent is not competence. So you have
Uy,
to be a
exciting
talent
yan.
task person.
Yes, exciting yan. Talent is not automatically competence. 'Di ba? So ang ganda pag-usapan natin 'yan. And uh I know we connected our topics, and what Jocelyn is saying for my topic now, this is about, okay, you're talented, you're Jocelyn's going to talk to you how to become talented and competent, and I'll be talking about what are the basic things that you need to have. So lahat these things are all tied up in one huge conference on March 27. So ladies, go ahead and invite everybody who's going to be watching this video. Jocelyn, can we start with you?
Yes, I would like to invite all our viewers and all our friends and family and friends of friends to please join us on March 27th. I'm very sure that you will gain a lot of insights, even if you are just starting out in your career, or you have been just promoted and don't know what to do as a new leader. So
Mm-mm.
each one of us, all seven of us, your coaches who will be in this conference, has something different to share, and we will
Ah.
share our experiences with you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jocelyn. So what about you, Riza? I know you said you're gonna talk about character. Invite all the women. Ano bang klaseng mga women dapat? Lahat ba? All ages ba to? So go ahead.
Okay, I would like to invite everyone to celebrate with us Women's Month on March 27. And it's going to be a day nako, full of fun and a lot of learning, And we want to impart to women yung how you can be a successful leader through competence, character, and connection. And also, we want to celebrate yung contributions ng mga kababayan sa ating society. So, I hope we will be your Saturdates on March 27. It's a Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And let's all learn together. It's gonna be an exciting and event because for the first time, virtual siya. So you can join us right in the comfort of your home. So hope to see you on March 27.
Wow, thank you, ladies. You know, you're right. This is the first virtual conference. It's our second leadership conference, but it's the first time we're going to go on a virtual platform.
Virtual, yeah.
And for those who, let's say, you can't sit from 9 o'clock to 5 p.m., don't worry, because as long as you are a registered participant, you are able to review the talks on demand on you. Really at the comfort of your home, sabi nga ni Riza, and in your own time. Thank you very much, ladies, for joining me. And maraming salamat. I know, Jocelyn, you're coming from Singapore, and Riza's coming in from South Africa, different time zones. But thank you for giving me and our subscribers, of course, that knowledge. And we hope to see you, everybody, all my subscribers. Come on, share your wives, your girlfriends. Give them a great investment, the investment in oneself, so that they will improve and get and get motivated. Sabi nga, remember the why. So we are going to post a registration link. I'm not sure if it's coming out up there or down here. I'm not sure. But for all the subscribers, we're going to post the link and how you're going to get the details and how you're going to register. So maraming salamat. Thank you for joining us again. This is Coach TGS wishing everybody a good evening, good night, good morning, or good afternoon,
Yeah.
whatever.
Thank you also. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye. Bye.
If you need advice, let me simplify. If